Welcome back to the Relevant Tips. Last week we discussed communication. Today we'd like to continue and find out more about how, when, and what to communicate so that what we intend to convey will be received well. Thank you for coming back, Mr. Tafati.
Thank you very much once again for having me.
For the benefit of those who missed out last week, what is communication?
Okay, thank you very much for the question once again. And so, communication is from the Latin word communicare, which means sharing. And so, sharing information, sharing thoughts, sharing sentiments, sharing our feelings. That is simply and basically communication.
All right. So, how do we relate that to relationship?
Okay. To answer that question, I want us to look at what really relationship is. So, relationship simply means connection between people or things. In context, we are talking about love relationship. And so, that thing which connects people is love. And for emphasis, because of my status as a Christian, I would say between love relationship between a man and a woman. And so when we are talking about communication in relationship, it is sharing information, sharing ideas, sharing feelings between two people who are in love. And so that is communication.
How do we communicate, or in what manner do we communicate so that what we intend to share is received well?
Okay. A good communication thrives on a very good posture, the body language of both the communicator and the recipient, especially the one communicating. When you are communicating and you are on top of your voice, it appears you are shouting at the person. That is not a good way to communicate. So, in communicating, you have to create the ambience for the recipient to be receptive, to open up, to receive. And so, one good way of communicating is opening up and creating the ambience for people to open up and receive from you. The other way is to be purposeful. Make up your mind that whatever you are telling that person is going to benefit the two of you because the two of you are in a relationship. And so it is not for the benefit of you, the one who is communicating. You are doing it for the person to also participate. And so if, for instance, I want somebody to give me water, as I said, the example I cited last week. When you shout at the person, it's likely the person will not act. But then if you do it in a polite way, the person will be willing to bring water to his loved one. He's participating, he or she is participating. Oh, I'm serving my love. And so he'll be willing to do that. So that is participating because of the way and manner you communicated, your posture, your body language, your voice, the way you communicate and you pass the information has made the person also respond in the way you expect. And so good communication thrives on body language, posture, and then the environment you create for the other person who is receiving information.
Okay, so can we get it wrong sometimes? Probably my face is straight, so you think that I'm not happy. Probably I'm just tired.
You see, all the days are not equal. Every human being has mood swings. And so, even that, it is said that you shouldn't allow your mood to affect people. In our relationship, we try as much as not to please people, but to make impact. And so, in making impact, you don't transfer your mood, your anger, or whatever you're going through to the other person. For instance, we all go to church. At least you go to church, I go to church. You don't expect that the pastor transfers anger from the house into his message and come and blast all of you in church. To what end? Or a lecturer comes to lecture hall and get angry and start blasting all of you in the class. Or your boss brings anger from it. When all these things happen, and let's take for instance the pastor's instance. He's not preaching. He's not sharing the word of God. He's not bringing a message of hope. He's pouring his sentiment, anger. And so, certainly, we are human. We have mood swings. But then, our sentiments, bad feelings, mood swing, bad feelings shouldn't be transferred when we are communicating to people.
What are some of the causes of miscommunication?
The causes of miscommunication are so many, but I'll touch on just a few. When you miscommunicate or you develop or take a posture which is not very welcoming to communicate, it brings, like I said, resentment. It puts the other person, it makes the other person take a posture, a defensive posture. So in effect, you have not communicated, you have not passed on any information. And so either the person will be mute, the person will decide to ignore you, the person will decide to avoid you, the person will decide never to give you attention at all. So this takes me to a story I'd like to share. It's about two couples who were having issues and communication didn't go right between the two of them. But then they had to travel. So on their way, nobody was talking until they got to a point where the lady saw some sheep grazing on a field. And then she made a comment to the man that those are your in-laws. He said, those are your family. And then the man said, of course, if they are my family, then they are your in-laws. And so if communication doesn't go well, these are the kind of things here. People, there'll be chaos in our relationships. There'll always be fight. There'll always be breaks. There'll be attacks on each other. And so we should make sure that when we are communicating, we communicate right and use the right approaches.
All right. So when you communicate and you realize that what you intend to deliver or what you intend to say to your other partner was not received well, how can you correct that? Because we all have different ways of understanding. You might say something is white, and I might take it that what you are intending to say is not like the whole thing is white. You mean some part of it is white. Yeah.
So, like I said, posture and body language is very important when you're communicating. And so, and then to add to that, patience is key. They say patience is a virtue. When you tell somebody something or you pass on an information or you communicate with someone and you are expecting results and you didn't get the desired result, you don't react in a way that the other person would feel embarrassed or feel bad about it. And so it's either you have not communicated well or the manner in which you have communicated wasn't the right. That is why you are not getting the desired result. And so in getting the desired result, it is very important that we do the communication the right way. So in effect, if the result you are expecting is not carried through to your expectation, it is important that you draw the person's attention using the appropriate posture once again. Draw the person's attention and not to make the person feel stupid, as if the person is not thinking or the person hasn't paid attention to you. Well, in effect, in receiving information or when you're communicating, attention is one of the key things. It's also a factor to what? Good communication. It's also a factor. And so it is very important that when we are communicating, whoever is listening also pays attention. Listen very well, not have divided attention. And whoever is also giving the information or communicating should also take the right posture and do the communication right. In that way, the required or desired results will be achieved.
Wow. Thank you so much. Anything done in love cannot be done wrong. So, in our bid to communicate or in our bid to share information, let's do that in love. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed our conversation, like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.